Breakfast isn't the most important meal of the day. It was a marketing slogan from the 1940s, invented by the company that wanted to sell you more cereal. By the end of this video, you'll understand the blueprint they used to engineer that belief and how that same formula is behind almost every piece of diet advice you've ever heard. And chances are, the rules you're following right now were written by a marketing department, not a lab. The modern diet industry was born from a very strange problem: abundance. After World War II, American agriculture became incredibly efficient. So efficient, it produced massive surpluses of specific crops: corn, wheat, and soybeans. Suddenly, the challenge was creating demand, a place for all this raw material to go. The solution was the modern processed food industry, an entire system built to turn cheap agricultural inputs into shelf-stable branded products. These new foods had to be engineered. They were designed for shipping logistics, for long shelf life, and for something called hyperpalatability. That's the scientific term for a food so perfectly engineered with fat, sugar, and salt that it overrides your body's natural signals of fullness. It makes you want to keep eating. It was a triumph of food science, but to sell these new creations, they needed a story about health. So the same companies that perfected the snack cake started funding university nutrition departments. They sponsored research. They published educational pamphlets for schools. They began to gently shape the public conversation around what it means to eat healthy. The government helped. They published a food pyramid that put processed grains, bread, cereal, pasta, at the very foundation of a healthy diet. A pyramid that perfectly matched the agricultural surplus they needed to sell. This created the perfect environment for a new kind of marketing. To move product effectively, you need more than a food pyramid, you need a villain. For decades, the villain was fat. Based on a few flawed early studies, dietary fat was blamed for everything from heart disease to obesity, and the food industry seized this opportunity with both hands. The low-fat craze of the 80s and 90s was born. Supermarket aisles filled with low-fat cookies, low-fat yogurt, low-fat salad dressing, low-fat everything. It was a marketing masterstroke. You could take the exact same product, remove some of the fat, and replace it with an enormous amount of sugar and refined flour to make it taste good again. Then you could slap a bright green low-fat label on the box and sell it as a health food. People bought it. They felt virtuous eating it. And yet, public health got worse. Obesity rates climbed faster than ever before. People were meticulously avoiding fat while consuming processed carbohydrates and sugar in historic quantities. The industry had discovered a powerful truth: a confused public is a profitable public. When the science finally caught up and began to exonerate healthy fats, the industry just pivoted. The villain changed. Suddenly, the new enemy was sugar. Then it was carbohydrates, then gluten, then grains. For every new villain, a new line of hero products magically appears on the shelves. Keto-friendly snacks, paleo protein bars, gluten-free cakes. The products are different, but the playbook is identical. Identify a single nutrient to demonize. Create a set of rigid, confusing rules, then sell the expensive, specially formulated products that fit those rules. The industry had a new playbook: find a scapegoat, sell the alternative, and watch sales climb. They soon discovered an even more powerful technique. Instead of just reacting to science, they could start creating it. Imagine you're a company that sells, for example, pomegranate juice. You want to market your product as a superfood. So you approach a university research lab and offer them a generous grant to study the health benefits of your juice. This happens every single day. The researchers, in need of funding, agree. But the question they study is framed very carefully. They might design a study that gives one group of people your juice every day, while a control group gets nothing. At the end of the study, they measure antioxidant levels in the blood. They find that the juice-drinking group has slightly higher levels. The study is technically accurate. It gets published in a respectable journal. The company then issues a press release. The headline reads, "New study shows pomegranate juice fights cell damage." News outlets, always hungry for a simple health story, pick it up. Soon, you see articles and morning show segments talking about the miraculous benefits of pomegranates. What gets lost in this game of telephone? The context: the study was funded by the company that sells the juice. The effect size might have been tiny, with little to no real-world impact on health, and perhaps eating a simple apple would have had the same effect for a fraction of the price. You see this pattern everywhere. Oat bran and cholesterol, green tea extract and metabolism, whey protein and muscle growth. A company creates a product first, then it reverse engineers the science to justify that product's existence. The goal is to produce a study, any study, that generates a positive headline. The study itself is just a marketing expense, a tool for creating the perception of scientific legitimacy. It's a masterpiece of misdirection, but the language they use to report these findings is where the real deception happens. Pay attention to the words on the packaging of so-called health foods. They are chosen with surgical precision by teams of lawyers. You'll rarely see a product claim to cure or prevent anything. Those are medical claims that require rigorous proof. Instead, you'll see words like supports, promotes, helps maintain, or boosts. What does it mean to support immune health? The word has no verifiable scientific meaning. It's legally airtight and emotionally resonant. It feels like science. This creates something called the health halo. When you see a label that says organic, gluten-free, or all natural, your brain subconsciously assumes the entire product is healthy. You could have a cookie made with organic sugar, organic white flour, and organic oil. It is still a cookie, but the health halo makes you feel better about eating it, and you may even eat more of it as a result. The food industry understands this psychology better than anyone. They use these labels to bypass the rational part of your brain. They're selling you an identity, the kind of person who buys organic, the kind of person who avoids gluten. The goal is to make you feel like you're making a scientific choice, when you're really just responding to well-tested advertising copy. And this is where people who defend these diets get it right, but for the wrong reasons. The most common defense is simple. But it worked for me. I lost 30 pounds on the keto diet. And this is true. Many people do lose weight on specific named diets. Critics are right to point that out. The mistake is in believing the diet's marketing story about why it worked. Keto advocates will tell you it worked because you eliminated carbs and entered a state of ketosis. Carnivore dieters say it's because you eliminated inflammatory plant toxins. Low-fat proponents say it's because you cut out artery-clogging fats. The reality is far simpler. They almost all work for the same reason. They get you to eat fewer calories. That's it. Each named diet is just a clever set of rules designed to restrict your food choices. By eliminating entire food groups, carbs, fats, or anything from an animal, you automatically reduce your overall food intake. It's much harder to overeat when your only options are steak and eggs or salad and chicken breast. The elaborate scientific-sounding explanations about insulin, ketones, or lectins are mostly just marketing narrative. They are the story that makes the simple act of caloric restriction feel revolutionary and proprietary. The diet's brand name gives you a tribe to belong to and a clear set of rules to follow. This structure can be very helpful for people. It provides a framework for discipline. The actual metabolic magic is almost always just a calorie deficit. The named diet is just the story you tell yourself while you eat less. But this cycle of trying and failing does more than just sell products. It has a much deeper, more personal cost. The diet industry is not designed to solve your problem. It is designed to be a recurring subscription. The perfect customer is someone who tries the diet, loses some weight, but eventually finds the extreme restrictions unsustainable. Life gets in the way. They fall off the wagon. The weight comes back. And here is the crucial step. They blame themselves. They think the diet worked, but I failed. I lacked the willpower. This sense of personal failure is the most profitable product the industry sells, because a few months later, when they're feeling desperate again, they won't question the diet, they'll question themselves, and they'll come back for the next solution. Maybe this time it's a different diet, or a new supplement, or a coaching program. Each failure reinforces the belief that the answer must be somewhere out there, in a book or a bottle. It just hasn't been found yet. This cycle systematically erodes the most important tool you have for managing your health, your trust in your own body. It teaches you to ignore your own hunger and satiety signals in favor of a rigid set of external rules. It makes you see food as a collection of menacing macronutrients to be calculated and controlled. Your confusion is their business model. Your self-blame is their repeat customer strategy. It's a system designed to keep you searching forever. So how do you actually break out? You stop playing the game, You opt out of the entire concept of a named diet. The most powerful act of rebellion against this system is to become a boringly healthy eater. The most effective health advice is unmarketable because it's simple, it's been known for decades, and it sells nothing. It involves eating real whole foods that don't have a long list of ingredients. It means focusing on protein and fiber, which keep you full. It means managing your stress and getting enough sleep, which have a bigger impact on your hormones and appetite than any superfood powder. It means engaging in regular physical activity. This advice is free, it's effective, and it's the diet industry's worst nightmare. Because a person who is quietly and consistently healthy is a lost customer. They don't need the next book, the next app, or the next box of keto-friendly meal replacement bars. The way out is to stop looking for a secret. There isn't one. The search for a magic bullet, a perfect diet, a hidden villain, that search is the trap. The goal was never for you to succeed. The goal was for you to keep buying tickets to the show. And that same mechanism of reverse-engineered marketing explains why the financial advice you see on social media feels so simple and is so often wrong.